It's now 4:30 on WKYT. This morning, we're learning more about a Southern Kentucky man charged with a double murder in 2015.
And investigators found two bodies in two separate counties over the weekend, and they think both cases are connected.
And the body of Muhammad Ali is back in his hometown of Louisville here in Kentucky. How the city is planning to honor him this week. Ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and it's so good to have you with us on this Monday. Hope you had a nice weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Meredith Jones in for Rebecca Smith. Well, I hear it's going to be a better day than it was over the weekend.
Yeah, it looks pretty good most of the week, it sounds like. Meteorologist Micah Harris is on duty. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, things are looking really nice all throughout your work week. We're going to go up and down with those temperatures, though. We'll really drop those off the next couple of days. Defender Radar Network, nothing on there. And you won't see much on there the next several days. Temperatures are there in the 60s this morning. It's actually a pretty nice feel as you step out the door. By the afternoon, we're at 83. Still warm today. That cool front has not really moved through just yet, but we'll feel those changes as we head throughout the next 48 to 72 hours. We're going to talk about that. I'll show you how low we go with those temperatures coming up.
Micah, thank you. In the news this hour, he is facing a long list of charges, and we're learning about a Southern Kentucky man charged with a double murder in 2015.
Deputies in Laurel County say 34-year-old Bradley Lawson killed Donnie and Sharon Jackson. He was already in jail when deputies charged him. He was indicted in April on federal drug charges. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner takes a look at Lawson's past.
Every day we go past by that house, and I say to myself, I still wish Sherry and Donnie was alive. It's just that you wish somebody could have saved them.
Christine Clooney lives on Slate Ridge Road and drives past the former home of Donnie and Sharon Jackson. It's now boarded up, reminding Clooney they're gone. She was there the day fire crews were called out to a house fire.
She said, yeah, somebody tried to set the place on fire. I said, did Donnie and Sherry get out?
They were found inside with gunshot wounds.
It was unbelievable. It was very unbelievable.
This is the home where police say Bradley Lawson attempted to rob the Jacksons. He's now behind bars for 2 counts of murder. Today, we're learning more about Lawson's criminal history.
I had seen him one time walking up this way, but we didn't know where he was going or anything.
Just a few miles up the road, Donnie and Sharon used to hang out at AmVet's Post 116. We're told Lawson, a veteran, has been seen there but wasn't a member. He's been in jail since August of 2015 when he was arrested on drug offenses. He's accused of transporting methamphetamine between Whitley County and Georgia from August 2014 to August 2015. Since then, he's been charged twice, in April on federal charges for those drug offenses and 1 day ago for the double murder.
You know, we don't want Lily to be a town that we live in where crime is being committed.
In Laurel County, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
The Times-Tribune reports Lawson was convicted for wanton endangerment back in 2012. He's expected in court at 11 this morning.
Investigators found 2 bodies in 2 separate counties over the weekend, and they think both cases are connected. They found the first body Saturday under Slate Creek Bridge in Montgomery County. The second they found near a cabin in Wolfe County. So far, 2 people have been arrested. WKYT's Victor Puente takes a look at their arrest citations in this Crime Tracker report.
Saturday afternoon, a man fishing along Slate Creek in Montgomery County came across a body beneath this bridge. The Montgomery County Sheriff said that started a homicide investigation, which led Kentucky State Police to Wolfe County. The arrest citations for Carla Hunt and Talmadge Branham claim they were there with 3 men at a cabin off of Kentucky 11 in Wolfe County when 2 of those men got into a fight with the third and shot him. That man was found in Slate Creek in Montgomery County. Police say Branham and Hunt tampered with physical evidence when they stopped at a car wash in Winchester to wash blood out of a rental car after driving those other 2 men back to Lexington.
Branham is from Jeffersonville. He lives a few miles away from where that body was found in Montgomery County. I spoke to his mother earlier today. She said she couldn't say anything because she hadn't talked to him yet.
State police said a second body was found outside of that Wolfe County cabin Sunday morning. The Montgomery County coroner said that was also a suspected homicide and both bodies would be taken to the state medical examiner's office. According to that citation, Branham and Hunt only knew the nicknames of the men they were with at that cabin. As far as we know, there have been no other arrests in this case. In Wolfe County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
And the Montgomery County coroner is still working to notify the families of both people. An arrest citation shows the man found was from Dayton, Ohio. Jury selection in Lexington begins this morning in the trial of Mark Taylor. Taylor faces murder and kidnapping charges in the 2013 death of Alex Johnson. Police say they found Johnson's body inside a barrel in the Kentucky River. Attorneys expect Taylor's trial to last 2 weeks.
A hometown hero is honored in Louisville. Boxing legend and Kentucky native Muhammad Ali passed away over the weekend at a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. The 74-year-old battled Parkinson's disease for decades, and his body is now back in Louisville. A private plane carrying his casket landed yesterday afternoon, and police escorted Ali's body to the funeral home. His brother says he wants the funeral to be love and happiness for Ali's memory.
It's hard to explain exactly how I feel. My best friend, my brother was my wife, Carolyn, she's my best friend. I was my friend, my brother was one of my best friends. But I just overwhelmingly happy that my brother's on to God. He's going to a better place. Yeah. Going to be with the Lord God.
An interfaith memorial service to honor the memory of Ali was held at the River Road Mosque in Louisville. Ali was born Cassius Clay and converted to Islam in the early 1960s. When Ali announced his conversion, promoters threatened to cancel boxing matches, and the news media at first refused to refer to him by his new name. The service was open to all faiths. Dan Koob talked to Ali's best friend about Ali's legacy.
You won't get far at Central High School without encountering greatness. Or rather, the greatest.
It would be something everybody would ask about. This is the school that Muhammad Ali went to. I said, yes, it is, proudly.
And we met during that time, and we trained hard. He was the most dedicated young athlete that I ever known to want to succeed in his career as a boxer.
One of Muhammad Ali's best friends, Victor Bender.
Ali, Burrell, myself.
Walked the Central halls with the world champion 55 years ago. And up until recently,
that was last year.
Kept in touch with him at every turn.
Not just about boxing, it's about his humanitarian and his character and his desire to work with young people. Had Parkinson's for 32 years, and some people don't live over 2 or 3 years with Parkinson's. And he's had it for 32 years and said, hey, it's sad.
Perhaps the best version of Ali, at least in the eyes of a close friend, came before butterflies and bee stings and WBC titles.
The two girls fighting over him. Oh, he's gonna be mine. I said, y'all fools, what's wrong with y'all? I'm not gonna be either one of your boyfriend.
Bender knew the bashful side of Cassius wouldn't last long.
When he went over to the Olympics and won that gold medal, he had got more confident in himself as a boxer and as a person.
The legacy is long-lasting. Ali's contributions to Central endure.
He was my hero, honestly. He was a humanitarian, and he taught people to love each other rather than to hate.
Anybody that can say they're the greatest, or any man that can get away with saying he's pretty, or anybody that can do the things that he did the way he did it, there's no way that that impact is going to die down in one generation or two.
And moments to a friend he'll never forget.
I always thought he was a brother to me, and I was a brother to him.
Ali's funeral will be Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock at the KFC Yum Center. The service will be translated and streamed on the internet. Former President Bill Clinton, Billy Crystal, and Bryant Gumbel will be among those giving eulogies at his funeral. There will be a private ceremony Thursday for the family.
We'll know today if prosecutors plan to file charges against the parents of the boy who got into the Cincinnati Zoo's gorilla exhibit last weekend. Zoo workers had to shoot and kill a 17-year-old gorilla that dragged the boy through some water. The boy's family says he is doing well at home. Cincinnati police handed the case over to prosecutors Thursday, and they will decide if the parents should be charged. However, legal experts believe charges are unlikely. Well, since the incident, zoo leaders have closed the gorilla exhibit. They are expected to reopen it tomorrow. Zoo leaders have been making changes to the fencing separating the public and the gorillas. Now, they say the new barrier railing is now 42 inches high and has solid wood beams at the top and the bottom and knotted rope netting. They say they made the changes even though the barrier passed the Association of Zoos and Aquariums inspection.
The funeral for a Kentucky author and financial expert is scheduled for today. Friends and family paid their respects to Don McNay during a visitation yesterday. The 57-year-old died suddenly last weekend on a trip to visit his wife. She is president of a school in New Orleans. McNay was a financial consultant who made a name for himself writing nationally published articles. He had a column in the Huffington Post. His funeral begins at 11 this morning at the Cathedral of Christ the King in Lexington. WKYT this morning, just getting started. Good to have you with us on this Monday. It's 4:40 right now.
That's right. Teen birth continues to drop, but there's still more work that needs to be done. We'll have that story coming up on WKYT this morning.
A good start to the day in the 60s, and we are dry. We hit toward the afternoon, and it looks like those temperatures will be there in the 80s, but we drop off big time tonight as that cold front blasts on through. I'll show you that in your forecast coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty nice start to the day as you are stepping out the door for you early risers. We're there in the 60s, couple of 50s sprinkled in here and there, especially Boyle County. We're sitting at 59 degrees there in Danville, 60 degrees in Frankfort, and you see mid-60s in other locations as well. So the feel's not really changing, not really today. But once we hit the afternoon, we'll be there in the 80s, but at least we're going to stay dry. Now, I will say this, once we head off into the evening and nighttime hours, we cannot rule out a passing shower, but for the most part, we're going to stay dry then too. So 83 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds. It's not a bad day. That's right near average, just above it, but then we drop our temperatures big time. As we go through the night and into tomorrow, now 59 degrees doesn't really scream cold front, but when you get into the day tomorrow and the following days after that, you're talking about a big time temperature swing. So that cold front does move through tonight. Don't expect loud thunderstorms out of this. Like I said, maybe a passing shower, and that's about it. But then we head off into your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame, and you're talking about temperatures below average in the 70s. So it's going to be not only a good feel, but a good look too, as those clouds try to move on out of the way, and we'll have plenty of sunshine during that time. Then we head off towards your weekend. So we go from the 70s, well really 80s today, 70s the next few days, and then we hit the weekend. Here comes a big warm front. And when I say big, I'm talking possibly 90 degrees as we head off towards your weekend. There are some particular models that I typically look at throwing out 90, 91, 92 degrees. I'm not willing to go there just yet, but we'll see if that trend continues as we get a little bit closer. But yeah, it's going to be really nice during the work week and then really warm as we head off towards your weekend. But look at the icons. Look at all throughout your 7-day forecast. There's really no good chance of rain whatsoever. There's little 20% here and there. But for the most part, guys, we're going to stay dry the next 6 to 7 days. This is a week that you try to knock out all those things that you weren't able to do the past few weeks with all the rain, heavy thunderstorms. Yesterday wasn't all that bad. Yesterday actually looked pretty good and felt pretty nice. Saturday was pretty stormy. We had some heavy rain. So if you're trying to get some of that yard work done that you weren't able to yesterday, you'll be able to do it any day this week. You'll be good to go.
It looks good.
Feels good too.
Easy to enjoy. Thank you. 4:46 right now.
Well, being a mother is no piece of cake, so you can imagine what it's like to give birth as a teenager.
The good news is the teen birth rate is dropping. Here is more in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
Hello, I'm Katie Kunkel. The national teen birth rate is at an all-time low, according to a new analysis for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Births to all teens have dropped more than 40% within the past decade, and births among Hispanic and Black teens have dropped by almost half. Other findings from the analysis include dramatic racial and ethnic differences. In some states, birth rates among Hispanic and Black teens were more than 3 times as high as those of whites. Higher unemployment and lower income and education are more common in communities with the highest teen birth rates. Researchers also found higher teen birth rates in southern and southwestern states. And while the teen birth rate has dropped, the CDC says too many teens are still having babies. Teen pregnancy and childbirth cost U.S. taxpayers an estimated $9 billion each year and have negative health and social consequences. For more information for mothers, visit momseveryday.com.
And for those tips and more, go to WKYT.com, click on Moms Every Day, and there, of course, we have the latest news and weather for you as well. And it's good to have you along at 4:47 when WKYT This Morning comes right back. A lot more news.
The last big round of presidential primaries will be tomorrow with California offering the biggest prize. We're on the campaign trail ahead on WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back into WKYT This Morning. Our time is 4:50. It's 10 till 5. And frontrunner Hillary Clinton is closer to becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee.
The last big round of primaries will be tomorrow with California offering the biggest prize. Danielle Nottingham has the details from Los Angeles.
Hillary Clinton says she's confident she'll clinch the Democratic nomination this week.
After Tuesday, I'm going to do everything I can to reach out to try to unify the Democratic Party, and I expect Senator Sanders to do the same.
Clinton spent the weekend campaigning hard around California, where she's in a dead heat with Bernie Sanders. The Vermont senator also blitzed the state, visiting West Hollywood and taking a spin on a carousel with his grandchildren at the Santa Monica Pier.
If I am not the nominee, and we're going to fight to become the nominee, it is Secretary Clinton's job to explain to those people why she should get their support.
6 states are voting in primaries on Tuesday. Even though California could go to Sanders, Clinton may not need to win here.
She will almost certainly clinch the nomination before the polls close in California.
As Clinton edges closer to facing Donald Trump in November, the presumptive Republican nominee is getting heat for highlighting the Mexican heritage of the federal judge presiding over a lawsuit against Trump University.
He's a member of a club or society very strongly pro-Mexican, which is all fine. But I say he's got bias. I want to build a wall.
Clinton called the remarks dangerous and not normal politics. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Clinton needs only 28 delegates to get the nomination, and she'll have to wait for tomorrow's primaries to reach the total.
Firefighters across Kentucky and some surrounding states got some hands-on training in Lexington. Dozens practiced rescuing fellow firefighters from burning homes. Lexington crews hope this kind of training will help save their fellow first responders' lives.
We lose roughly 100 firefighters across the nation a year.
Firefighters have spent time in the classroom, on rope rescue courses, and in heavy vehicle rescues. They say it is the longest-running fire training school in the country. Their 87th year, by the way. And a reminder, crews in Lexington will be setting off test fireworks tonight. City leaders announced last week a new location for the 4th of July display. They'll be launching fireworks from a site on Alumni Drive near the Arboretum. That test tonight will only last around 3 minutes or so, but probably be attention getting if you live anywhere near there. So
quite a view, a little, pre-4th of July activity.
Yeah. Keep that in mind, right? Coming up next, a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
And we'll have another look at your morning forecast coming up.
Good morning. Welcome back in. WKYT This Morning is on the air on your Monday at 4:56.
Now it's time to take a look at some of the stories that we're working on this morning.
Today we'll learn if prosecutors plan to file charges against the parents of the boy who got into that Cincinnati Zoo gorilla exhibit last weekend. At the top of the hour, we'll look at some of the details in the case and what changes are now coming to the zoo.
And it was a busy night for Lexington police. They tell us there were 3 robberies overnight and a police chase. Now that chase ended with 3 arrests in Woodford County. We will be live at the top of the hour with more details.
And a week that's going to feel like spring and summer, depending on the day of the week. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, it actually will feel quite nice, like you were talking about later on this afternoon. It's just slightly above average, but, we're around average nonetheless. 63 degrees. Now in Jackson and Breathitt County, as you're walking out the door, we get into your afternoon, 83 degrees, so it's slightly warm. But once we get past the 5 p.m. time frame, we get off into the night. Clouds will be on the increase. Here comes a cold front that's going to be barreling on through, and it'll drop these temperatures by about 5 to 10 degrees as we head throughout your next few days. We're going to talk about that big time drop in temperatures, and then the big time jump in temperatures for your weekend. It's going to be up and down. I'll have that with another 2 hours of WKYT News in just a couple of minutes.